All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Hunter the Reckoning tonight. We are continuing our chronicle. I think this is episode 3, not counting our session 0. We had some combat for the first time last session. I stabbed Melissa, so there's that. So that was a dream that
fulfilled.
Fulfilled. Got to check that off the bucket list. And we learned a few things. Got a couple leads to track down. Also rescued Brock. Might have gone from the frying pan into, was it the frying pan into the fryer? I can't remember the phrase.
The oven or something.
When you invert it.
Frying pan into the fire.
Yeah, frying pan into the fire. Thank you. So there's that. Hey, Matt. Hey, Farkadev. Thank you for joining. Okay, so why don't we just dive into some character intros, tell us who you're playing, etc., and I will then do the summary of last time. We'll go around in order, as per usual. Start to the left, move away to the right. So, Long, you are up. Tell us about Alvin.
Yeah, I'm playing Alvin, a practitioner of judo for the past 30 years. Got his own dojo, a wife, a young daughter, and he's pretty much got a scar around his left hand. That's from a significant event of his. That's why he's seeking out these monsters or creatures.
Nice. Is there a specific, I can't remember if you said this or not, was there like a specific supernatural creature that you got the scar from? Or you still kind of waiting to...
It's kind of fuzzy because he couldn't really identify it. It's just a late night.
Okay. So it's just something, but it was something monstrous, right? It was like something supernatural. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Let's go. Stay on the left-hand side. Quixote. Aaron, tell us about Quixote Rust.
So Quixote Rust, obviously that's not his real name. That was a name given to him by the nurses and the orderlies in the hospital for the criminally insane, where he spent the last 10 years, because when he was 9 years old, he massacred his entire family. It took the intervention of a brand new psychiatrist named Dr. Natasha Freud, no relation, and an exorcist named Sister Isabel LeBlanc to figure out that he actually was possessed by some kind of entity. Sister LeBlanc, with the assistance of Quixote Rust, managed to drive the entity out of him and help him escape. Onto the streets of Phoenix, where he now lives, figuring the best place to hunt the creatures that hunt humanity is on the streets where they prowl. So he occasionally spends some time at a homeless shelter when he needs to rest up, but generally he works his way around the edges of society to try to hunt the monsters, and of course to stay off the grid, because he is a wanted, criminally insane patient.
Yeah. And we just met Sister LeBlanc at the end of the last session as well.
That's
we
right.
got to get former member of Society of St. Leopold, which is a notable organization to World of Darkness folks. Okay. And we'll probably see her again this session, I would imagine, at some point. So let's go on over to the right-hand side. Ashley, tell us about Elaine.
I'm playing Elaine Graves, and she's a rather severe woman. Her life has been it's not normal. When she was younger, she was attacked by some sort of creature, and it caused one of her friends to pass away, and her life has never been the same since. She's got a scar on her face from it, and she lived with her grandmother, took care of her, until she passed, and that's when she moved down to Arizona. She's been here for about 3 years now, and she's not quite used to how unfriendly these people in Arizona are in her neighborhood. But despite that, she's determined to help keep it safe.
Wonderful. Same question to you, actually. The attack that caused the death of your childhood friend. Did you have an idea? Do you have an idea for the werewolf, vampire? Was it one of those, or something more unknown? The way that Alvin was.
It was something more eldritch. She hasn't figured out exactly what it was yet, but it lurked in the sewers.
Oh, okay. Don't we have like 2 sewer stories? Oh man, we have to go into the sewers. I feel like we got to go into the sewers. I think
it might have been me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking tunnel or wash. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna kill 2 birds with one stone. There's a giant crocodile or something in the sewers or something like that.
Elaine is a little claustrophobic since.
Okay. All right. Isn't Maria also claustrophobic? Are you playing the same character?
Are we the same?
She is not claustrophobic. She doesn't like bodies of water.
Okay. All right. Well, you live in a desert, so exactly. In 2022, so there's not many of those bodies of water here anymore.
No.
They're called puddles now. Well, anyway, tell us more about Maria, Melissa.
Yes. So Maria is our blue-collar inquisitive. She is a plumber by trade. She's got a mentor who's not returning her calls, who is a journeyman hunter who owns a supply store. She's got short reddish hair, wears work overalls, kind of always a little bit dirty. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's Maria.
Cute thing. I love how like we've turned her. I know like you kind of have a joke, off air that you're basically playing Mario. Like it's basically what you are, which is great. Just fantastic. So that's all I picture. I just picture like when you say the overalls and stuff, I picture like the Mario overalls and everything. That's what I'm picturing. It's like Mario, like the red shirt underneath and everything. Oh, it's fantastic. That's what it is. I know that's not what it is, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's dive in. So last session, a couple weeks ago, you confronted a strange creature inside the train yard, this industrial train yard in downtown Phoenix. We are in southern Phoenix, kind of central city area, not a very well-to-do area, kind of industrial as well. This creature was very peculiar looking, probably not anything that any of you have ever encountered or heard about. It was definitely nothing familiar, but it had like wrapped skin around its bipedal body, very much humanoid looking, and almost had kind of like a mummy-like appearance to it, but instead of it being cloth, it was skin. It was wearing a heavy coat over top of itself, and then eventually shed that coat. And when it did, Alvin, you were able to see that there are all these eyeballs that were on it everywhere, and they were moving and opening and stuff like that, and they could shift, it seems, at a moment's notice. You got in a little scuffle with it, Alvin. I think you pile drive it from the top of the train car back down to the ground, but this thing was very, very fast. As once it kind of slipped your hold, it was able to outpace you all and move quite quickly, escaping you all. There's other kind of guards of the train station were kind of closing in. There was one of them who was assaulted. You all saved. They were missing their eyes though, like completely missing. No scars, no blood, nothing like that. Just like empty skin. Like it's not even like there were sockets. It was just like the sockets were grown over. Now, as you all were fleeing the scene because cops were starting to arrive, you all heard a different kind of scuffle going on nearby in an alleyway, and that's when you found Brock Davies, Quixote's good friend who runs a homeless shelter in the area. He too was missing his eyes, but he was currently being attacked by a couple kind of thugs, just these random people mugging him. You're not really sure what. They seemed on something. You fought them off. One of them stabbed Maria. You noticed they had a club stamp for Fervor, FRVR, on their wrists, which I think you all took note of. You all brought Brock over to Valleywise Health Medical Center nearby. You heard some weird stuff. You overheard I think it was Maria overheard some weird stuff coming out of some of the cops in the area inside the emergency room. Something like another one, or they brought him right to us, or the doc's going to want to see him, stuff like that. Russ went back in, caused a bit of a commotion, brought a whole messload of attention to try to protect Brock, tried to get some of the shelter folks to come by too, which they eventually did. And the cops tried to lead Rust outside, and as they were getting ready to put him into the squad car, Quixote managed to get away. But not only that, but notice it wasn't cops. These were security guards. These were private security guards for a company called Lockroom Control, even though they looked very much like city cops. Elsewhere, Alvin, you pissed your wife off. Your daughter apparently heard somebody trying to break into your house. You also discovered some tabloid stories about aliens stealing eyes from people so as to create some kind of hive mind. This was all happening in Tennessee, and there was a picture of a woman with the same sort of injuries as you saw in the garden with Brock. Maria, you tried to contact Katya, but you couldn't get in touch with her. Elaine, your neighbor had gone missing. Mr. Ponder had gone missing, and his son was being a jerk about it. And then I think Quixote then went to go see Sister LeBlanc in the morning at the nearby church. And that's when you learned that there was another parishioner by the name of Westland, whose son had suffered a very similar assault and was having dreams that seemed to match up with what actually transpired the night before when you all were fighting the creature inside the train yard. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's say, just for the sake of kind of getting things together, let's say it's mid-morning to late morning. Alvin, you've done your research. You all, I will say, Quixote, you're still probably at the church with Sister LeBlanc. You all can... Yeah, how do you want to go about doing this? How do we? So we'll start with. I guess we'll start with Alvin and Quixote because they're the ones who are actually sitting on some info. Do either of you reach out to the rest of the cell, or is there something else you're looking to do?
Yeah, once I find what I can out of my research, I'll go ahead and shoot over the articles to the others, give them some insight on it.
Okay, so all of you on whatever phones that you communicate with each other with, you get the message popped up. You got like links to various stories, and it's the same thing. You see a picture, and for those of you who actually saw Brock, I think everyone probably saw Brock at the very least, or the train guard. It's the same thing. Eyes are gone, and there's no socket. There's no healed portion of the eye. It's just sort of like a depression on either side of the nose. And it looks exactly the same, but it's also referencing a tabloid newspaper and aliens and a hive mind. What about you, Quixote?
Quixote would call Maria on Sister LeBlanc's phone because he destroyed his burner at the when he fled the hospital. So, Maria, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Listen, I can't talk long. This is an unsecured line. I've ditched my old phone. Hey, do you think you could pick me up a burner? I've got information to pass. I'll meet you at your shop. Leave the back door open.
Sounds good.
And then he hangs up real fast because he doesn't want the call to be traced, of course. Because
Maria's pretty used to like not trying to respond with too many words. Like, this is going to be one way and brief.
Okay.
He hands the phone back to Sister LeBlanc. He's like, Sister, if you hear from Mr. Landon about his son dreaming anything else, you know how to contact me. I'll drop you my new number at the normal location later today. I'm gonna look in on another one of the victims. Maybe we can figure this out. If you hear anything else about this thing, you know where to find me.
I will try to arrange a meeting with Mr. Landon. If not, his son as well. I'll contact you when I have information.
Thanks, sister. Remember, the war's everywhere. We gotta keep fighting.
Watch your back. All right. Let's check in with Elaine. What is Elaine doing? Ashley?
What's
Elaine doing?
Hi.
Elaine's miles away.
I was still checking my notes for names. Sorry. Elaine, so where we left off with her, Maria stayed the night at my house, and I healed her. And I found out that my neighbor, Mr. Ponder, had left his house again. And I had just gotten off the phone with an argument with his son. And his son is threatening to put him in care. And so Elaine has kind of like popped back in the house, yells at Maria that she's going to go to the nearby convenience store and grocery store to see if Mr. Ponder's there.
Okay. Actually, that's perfect because I just got a call from Rust and he needs a new burner. So.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
go grab one.
Yeah, the two of you head out. Or do you want to both go out, I assume? Do you want to stay together?
Yeah.
Okay, the two of you head out. you kind of, we'll say you do some, in addition to like kind of the going the grocery, you just drive the neighborhood maybe and some nearby areas, things like that. Unfortunately, you do not locate Mr. Ponder in any of these places. You are able to obviously get the burners just fine. But we'll say you do maybe a good half an hour to an hour worth of driving around.
I can't remember if I did, but like at the end of last session, but she definitely calls emergency services.
Okay. Are you emergency contact? Or, I mean, I think he has kids, so I'd imagine the kids would be emergency contact.
Yeah,
but...
so she called the kid and the son. So now she's going to call, or if she didn't already, call 911 to report him missing. Okay.
All right. Okay, so you'll put in a report. No, yeah, that's fine. Put in a report for missing neighbor. We don't have to play out the whole scene, but there's questions, obviously. Who are you, et cetera, last seen, to get your contact info, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you have that we'll say that report's filed, whether or not they how seriously they took it, you're kind of unsure, but they definitely took your info. Now what would you all like to do?
Where are we meeting up, did they say?
Rust, we're going to meet up. It's behind Katja's shop. That's kind of where the safe house is.
Mm-hmm.
Does Alvin know already? Do you need to call him? Should we pick him up on the way? What do you think?
I'll say that we text Alvin and
sure,
tell him we're meeting at the safe house.
Yeah, we don't have to like overly look at the granularity of that. Assume he knows. Okay, so let's just fast forward then and put you all together, and so we can kind of figure out a plan of attack after that. So little time passes, but we'll say it's still fairly early in the day. You know, probably no later than noon. You meet up over at I think we had a name for her place. Isn't that right, Melissa? I think it was
Valley
Trade Supply. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, do we want it? So there's a safe house. Is it her safe house? Like, is like part of hers? Like she lives there. She works there, or is she like part of the sort of like a part-time, half-retired hunter? Like, how do we look at this, Maria?
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Why there's a safe house connected to her place of business. Since she was a hunter. So yeah.
Sure. Now the place is open. Valley Trade Supply is definitely open. She's got employees, so you can definitely see people are coming and going. But beyond that, maybe it's maybe it's an old apartment building. Maybe it's like a double wide trailer. What are you thinking in terms of what it looks like?
So I'm imagining that the trade supply is kind of in that industrial area. So I'm guessing that it's kind of like a industrial garage kind of a place behind it.
Perfect. Okay. Eddie, thanks for that gift sub. Farco, thank you so much. Oh God, complications. Okay, thank you very much. I've started to actually brainstorm what complications could be because I've been getting a lot of them lately, mainly because Farco Dev throws out so many complications. It's great.
Likes to keep things spicy.
My teammate.
I get it.
It's fun. It's a good time.
Okay, so yeah, I love the idea. Like, we'll call it a garage. It's like a kind of converted living space and everything where Claudia lives. Perfect. I'll say it would make sense that you know how to get inside. She kind of let you in. Okay.
Is
one
she
by
here,
one,
though? Because I've been wanting her to return my phone calls.
Yeah, you head inside, and you notice that, and I'll say you and Elaine are there first, probably Quixote and Alvin show up shortly thereafter. And you get inside, and you notice that her usual mode of transport, whether it's a van or bike or whatever it is missing. You do notice that there are 2 notes for you on the fridge, like these sort of torn off of torn off of whatever kind of generic Valley Trade Supply stationery items they have nearby. One of them, fairly benign, just says "back soon." and then this like kind of a note that you would probably know as like communication. Like it's a kind of code for like, you know, on the hunt type of thing. And then the second one, it says, quit fucking poking around. It says, with a smiley face. You notice that, as you're looking around her place, there's no signs of like any struggle. There's no signs of any damage or anything here. She does have like a very old fashioned kind of voicemail, like a physical box that she has, and you can see that's kind of blinking. Like it looks like she has messages, but otherwise you don't notice anything amiss immediately.
I mean, obviously, if there's a blinking button, I'm going to push the play.
You're not listening to her note. Got it. Okay. So if you sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah. We don't have to do you can get it. I'm not going to require a roll on this. You listen, and it's a voicemail from, it sounds like a nurse or an intake office. It is a voicemail that's confirming her intake appointment at Whitehall Center in North Scottsdale. Eddie, thank you again.
Oh, goodness. More bits and more subs.
Very nice of you. I'll tell you what. Elaine, you're here first. Because you two came over. I'll give this roll to you. Why don't you give me some kind of like an investigation, maybe? Like an investigation wits or intelligence would be fine. Either one of those, I don't really care in this case.
Okay, cool.
While Maria's listening to her phone. Tool
While
to Twitch,
Maria's being
thank
nosy.
you. So you're wandering around being nosy, 5 successes. Okay. You notice two things. I'll give you 2 things for those 5 successes. One, you notice that there seems to have been a cot set up in this area. You're getting the signs that somebody was staying with her. Like a cot was set up and it was slept in, and it's relatively tidy, but it hasn't been put away. And that's not, and like Maria would be able to confirm, it's not normally out. And secondly, you notice a pamphlet for Whitehall Advanced Care Centers. Guys are going for that hype trade. Thank you so much.
Oh, goodness. So I have a question,
You guys
Jeff.
are way too nice. Way too nice.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone. So the message for Whitehall, was it specifically for Katja?
Yeah. I don't know if you gave me Katya's last name, but it'll be for Miss Katya, and then whatever you want Katya's last name to be.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't potentially for this house guest.
No, it's specifically, it's Arkadev. Thank you. It's specifically for whatever, it's either for Katya herself or for like one of her usual cover identities. Probably whatever her official her official name is for Valley Trade Supply ownership.
Got it. Okay. Alrighty.
Okay. But that's really it. And we'll say you two were there first. You have that. And then it's at that point that Alvin and Quixote show up after the 2 of you have kind of snooped around a bit. And so we'll say now all 4 of you together. Take it away.
So Maria's going to toss the burner phone over to Rust.
Thanks, Maria. I just appreciate it. My other one was probably compromised, so I had to ditch it.
You single-handedly keep some of the stores around here in business with all of your.
But you don't tell them who it's for, right? Though.
Of course not. Nobody asks
Okay.
questions here.
Okay.
We're not that friendly.
All right. Yeah.
It's really weird, by the way.
What's really weird?
Just nobody's friendly.
Hey, last friendly people I knew were my family, and I carved their hearts out. So I'm there with you.
Yeah.
It's a war out there, and
You
you're
said
either
in
helping us
therapy
fight,
for that,
or you're
right?
helping us, or you're helping the enemy. One of the two. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, though,
Oh,
the Sister LeBlanc,
Oh.
not the church goons she used to work for, but Sister LeBlanc.
Okay.
She helped me figure some stuff out about the eyeless people.
What'd you figure out?
The eyeless victims can still see through their eyes even when they're on the monster's bodies. They dream what the monster's doing.
Oh. Who is it that you talked to?
What was his name? Mr. Landon. He's a parishioner at the St. Mary's Basilica, and his son was taken. And apparently those security goons, those quislings who tried to get Brock, didn't get him either. But he had dreams. He dreamed what we saw at the train yard when we fought that thing. So maybe if we get him or Brock, we can figure out where this thing is going. We can use them like radios.
Oh. And Elaine's got like a little notebook out and she's taking notes as you're talking. All right, and you said both of his eyes are missing?
I think so. I think that's what the sister said. Maybe one, maybe two. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it matters because what if
Both of Brock's
can't
eyes
see?
are missing.
But we don't know if Brock can see.
No, we don't. That's true. That's a good point, Elaine.
Okay.
We gotta talk to Brock.
So
Maybe.
we gotta check in with Brock.
We gotta make sure those security guys, obviously in the employ of the monsters, have to be, didn't grab him again.
I guess we should also check in on that guy that we left. See if we can find who that security officer was.
Yeah. Over at the train station, right?
Yeah.
That's all I found out, though. Just the
That's
thing.
good information. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, we gotta find those security guards. Damn quislings. Working
That
for
is-
the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, it's at some point we're gonna figure out who this doc is,
And then we're gonna make him talk, right? Right, Maria? Because we can't stomach humans who work for the enemy. That may be what they do. I mean, the enemy. You know, this may just be their nature, but humans helping them, they're worse. Fucking parasites.
Maria's wandering over toward the armory that's set up in the safe house.
Yeah. I think you took this, right? This is one
I
of your.
did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What does it
Yeah.
look like? Describe it to us.
I don't know these things. I'm assuming
Well,
it's
just
some
like-
sort of like a so I'm envisioning this area looks, like a lot of those, kind of like 4 foot tall words are escaping me, like toolboxes.
Sure. Okay.
And so essentially one of those looks just like all of the rest of them,
Mhm.
except instead of it being pull-out drawers, it's actually like the face comes off.
Okay.
And then inside is more of like a gun safe kind of a thing.
Okay. So it's a gun safe, or is it your? Oh, I thought we were talking about your drone stuff. My bad.
Oh no,
Some
no,
stuff.
just the safe house.
Okay.
The armory
Alright.
within the safe house, just
Gotcha.
kind of making
Okay.
sure that everybody sees we've got some
You can gear up a little
weapons
bit.
at our disposal. Exactly.
Okay.
Oh. Weapons are nice and all, but what's our next point of attack?
Can we speak with his father's son? Is he available?
Sister LeBlanc was going to try to get in touch with them. She seemed to think that maybe me talking to him might not be the best approach. For some reason, I don't understand, but she seemed to think maybe she should talk to him, but we could probably go find Brock.
Yeah, I think maybe speaking to Brock, and then maybe if you can introduce us to the sister, maybe she'd be willing to schedule an appointment.
Yeah, I could. I'm sure, yeah. Sister LeBlanc knows that I'm working with a squad of soldiers, so I'm sure she'd be happy to meet with you. Hey, Maria, I'm not very good with a gun, but can I have one or two, and a knife, or maybe like a crowbar?
I mean, just look around. I'm sure there's crowbar lying around somewhere. Then sure, I think there's.
Yeah. I don't know how to load a gun though, because I mean, I've never actually seen one in real life. They didn't even show us movies with guns when I was, well, you know.
Well, that makes some sense. We should
Maybe somebody
go
can
out in the
teach me
desert
later.
at some
Yeah.
point. We can do some shooting cans and whatnot. But for now, and she's got a safe house with an armory, so she, puts everything together, got it ready for you, shows you what you need to do, and just don't point it at me. Hands to you.
He just looks at it, slightly baffled, but puts it in one of his big coat pockets of his Gore-Tex jacket.
Okay.
Thanks, Maria.
All right. So the plan then to go check in on Brock? Is that the idea, or was there something else that we wanted to do instead?
Well, we also had the nightclub to check out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Maria will update everybody that she called her sister, who just kind of gave her a quick info that it's not a good place to go to. I think we should definitely take a look at some point. Might be a good use of my drone at some point later on. Maybe not
True.
this time of night, but maybe nighttime might be a good idea to get some eye in the sky surveillance as to kind of folks come and go from their patterns and whatnot. And I just upgraded my drone so that it can do a little bit of a follow its own pattern kind of a thing. So,
Well, maybe we go talk to Brock before the sun goes down. I'd like to get him someplace more secure before night falls. I don't like to leave anybody in a public place who isn't aware of what we're facing.
Rust, you know who his emergency contact is? We shouldn't show up without him.
I don't really know. I mean, I talked to him over the homeless shelter. But Shelby said she was going to send some people. She might know, but she said she was going to be there, so she might already be there. I told her to stay with him.
Okay. Yeah, then I think we should probably head over to Brock first.
All right.
Hey,
So
I might need a disguise. They may remember me there. I got a little loud the last time I was over there.
So
Okay.
I think it was it Lindsay? Was that her name? Did you
I
spoke
think it was
with?
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Shelby-
Shelby.
Yeah,
was
Shelby's the missing one. Yeah. So we'll
was
say
fine.
just for ease, there's no reason why we can't make Lindsay the emergency contact, especially since she's family wasn't really a thing with him. The other thing I just wanted to touch in, mechanically, the hidden armory. How many dots do you have, Melissa, in it?
oh, sorry, I was muted. I was saying, hold on, let me find where it is on my sheet. Safe house plus armory, 2 dots.
Okay, so that should provide for each dot. It provides you a couple things: 1 pistol, 1 long firearm with ammunition. So pretty simple, but it's not as good as the Arsenal Edge. These are pretty basic things. I did put a handout in the journal section where you can kind of see, what those would be. So just sort of the lower forms of those weapons, whatever is the weaker of the pistol, the weaker of the long arm. So that gives you an idea of what they are. But crowbar is totally fine. I mean, you're in a garage. I have no problem with that. Okay. So we'll say for sake of simplicity, Lindsay is the emergency contact, which you spoke with already. She was already heading over to the hospital hours and hours ago, because you contacted her early in the morning, before dawn, and headed over. So what's the plan then? Are we heading over to Valley Wise Med, or are we going? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're gonna go see Brock.
Okay. Alvin, did you have anything to add?
It's probably just a quick like message to send out. Maybe get in contact with this author of the tabloid. Try to get more info on that.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
call.
Let's do a little roll for that then. Since you're specifically trying to contact a person, you can probably do something like a persuasion test if you have it, unless there's some other tact that you're trying to employ. I think probably persuasion, charisma, maybe.
All right, that's not my strong suit, but I'll roll it.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna put it at like a difficulty at straightforward, but if you get higher than that, maybe they're a little bit more, willing to give you more info.
Just a one
Okay.
success.
Okay. So yeah, we'll say that as you say you get the email out, contact info out, kind of asking for more information from using the byline, and as you're driving over to Valley Wise Med, you get a response pretty quickly, and you realize that like that's probably maybe a bad sign, but it might be like an assistant or something like that. That kind of gives you a little bit of the brush off, and it almost looks like a form email response. Thank you for your interest. And in the writings of we'll say Mr. Richardson, we are very happy to hear from fans of his work. As you know, as a professional journalist, he cannot divulge sources. And he has to protect them at all costs. But if you continue with your subscription to our newspaper, I'm sure you'll be reading more about the wonderful and very strange and horrifying events that are occurring within our fair state. And it's kind of signed off. Okay, so you make it over to Valley Wise Med. We'll say early afternoon by the time you get over there. It's daytime, very busy. You can see you probably park somewhere, visitor parking, public parking, whatever. But you park on in there. What's the plan to go inside? You do know Quixote was seen, did kind of pull up a stink here. And Maria also might have been seen. They might, whether or not they remember, who knows? Yeah.
How about I call you, Elaine, or Alvin, and we leave an open line, and you go in to visit him, and then I can talk to him and let him know you're friends. We stay in the car so they don't see us.
Okay. Yeah.
Works for me.
Alvin, do you have any ideas?
That's fine. We can see if we can meet them up, but if they are asking questions, it might get a little dicey.
Well, if you can convince him to check out, or convince Lindsay to check him out, we can get him someplace safe and then talk to him.
All right.
Should we call Lindsay first?
Well, that's a good idea, Elaine. Let me try to give her a call. She won't recognize the number I'm calling from, but maybe she'll pick up.
All right.
So Quixote, he dials Lindsay's cell phone number.
High or low, Aaron?
Hi.
All right. This is going to be purely a 50-50. You said hi?
Hi.
No, they don't answer their phone.
She doesn't like spam calls. She probably just not picking up.
You guys can stay here. I'll head in with Elaine.
Go,
Okay.
Alvin.
Okay. The two of you head in. Elaine, Alvin, you go inside. Maria, Quixote, you hang outside. How about we'll say why don't we do two different awareness rolls, one for the inside crew, one for the outside crew. We can say that someone's helping each other out, so we can do kind of one roll apiece, and we'll just say somebody, whoever wants to roll it for the two groups can go ahead, and then take a bonus for the help that you're getting. So one from whoever's better with Elaine and Alvin, whoever's better with Quixote and Maria.
Like awareness, composure, or awareness.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'll take wits. I'll take composure. Either's fine.
My awareness, composure, I got 5 dots combined in the two of those.
Got 6 combined.
I have 7 total, Alvin.
Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead and give him a roll.
And so we take a modifier for the assistance.
Yeah, +1 because you're helping each other, essentially.
Gotta roll 1 more dice. for Alvin.
And don't forget, after you roll, if you want to burn a willpower to re-roll 3 dice, you're welcome to do that as well. Higher the better, basically. 2 is minimum for some information, but if you get higher, I'll probably give you some extras.
It's just to re-roll 3.
Yeah, you burn. You mark a willpower, so you do the superficial, and then you re-roll 3.
And we have very generous viewers, so we've got a handful of those.
They gave them all to me,
They're
though.
worse.
Okay.
Just 2 successes, Jeff.
Okay, fair enough. So going inside, Elaine, Alvin, you do notice that there is security about. You do see folks in uniform here and there. They're armed. You can see their exits. I don't know. You get the sense that I'm not sure how frequently all of you necessarily come to the come here, but definitely you get the feeling. You definitely get the feeling that it's a little heightened for some reason, and you can tell that you're going into you're not going into the emergency room, right? You're just going into kind of like general,
like
right.
the front desk kind of thing.
Right. But and again, that's why maybe it stands out even more is that you're kind of going in not into the emergency area where if anything crazy was going to happen, would probably happen in the ER, but you're going in for visitation. And you can see multiple people's kind of set up here and there and kind of eyeing things down. It's somewhat busy, but you're able, if you get up and you're just looking for business, if you're just looking for like visitation hours, we'll say, just because I want to move the story along, we'll say, yeah, we're within, it's 10 to 6. So as long as you've come between 10 and 6, and because he's not in any specific surgery, you give a name and they reference, and you kind of get the room number and you kind of start heading there. But every time you kind of pass by like an intersection or, you get on the elevator or go up the stairs, whatever route you take, it like a hallway doesn't go by without you kind of seeing at least one person moving or stationed somewhere. Outside, Quixote and Maria, both of you notice, with 3 successes, I'll say you notice a few things. You say you do notice, first of all, there's multiple locker room control vehicles out here, and even in the light of day, they even look very much like Phoenix cops, like the actual patrol cars and things. And you're seeing like a mixture. Some of them are kind of like the SUV type. Some of them are kind of like the longer sedan type. And then with your 3rd success, there's actually one other thing I'll say, Maria, catches your eye, and it's a van that you notice pulled up and parked. It's a med van, and it says along the side, it says Valley Med Corp. And you can kind of see it parked a kind of further distance away, and it doesn't seem like anything's really happening there. Like it's not actively set up, but you do see it, and that's a name that you remember when you were kind of talking about that Wendell Drebin guy.
Okay.
And you also notice around the outside, like in addition to these cars, some of those cars that have the locker room control on it, you do see there's people inside of them.
All right. Pointing all of this out to Rust.
I told you, Maria. I told you they were here on the look for us. They're obviously helping the monsters. We may have to take a few of them prisoner for interrogation if things go sideways here today.
That is definitely a possibility. Some of these folks seem like they might be trained to not give information over quite so easily. Right. But we do seem to be kind of ground zero here.
Spent 10 years in a mental ward. If I can't break somebody, nobody can.
Between the two of us, I think we've got some persuasive abilities.
Thanks for having my back, Maria. I know I'm a little off. Thank you.
Got a fight in front of us. keep ourselves focused. Meanwhile, while she's talking about being focused, like after she's noticing all these things, she is totally on her phone Googling that like Whitehall Center.
Okay, sure, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it seems legit. Like there's a couple different locations around the valley, different. They're basically a variety of facilities. Like some of them are rehab facilities, some are nursing home facilities, long care, short care. It's kind of a whole group, it seems, that you see. Pretty simple to find. And there's multiple locations.
Okay.
Let's see. Inside, Elaine, Alvin, you come down the hall for the room where Brock is you were given, and you go up to the door, which there's no one there, no one there guarding it or anything like that, and you open the door and you can see there's a woman in a chair, and you can see that she's kind of like slouched down. You can see her phone is on a little table next to it, and she's got what looks like a coffee cup there as well. And you notice that the bed is empty.
Oh, shit. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Who
are you?
We're friends of Russ. You're Lindsay, correct?
You see her kind of like wince at the name just ever so slightly. I didn't know Rust had friends.
Yeah. We're hoping to speak with Brock. Where is he?
They took him down for a CT scan about 45 minutes ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
they said he wasn't in any surgeries or anything.
It's not a surgery. It's a CT scan. They put
I
you in the
meant, like,
machine and
operations. Okay, yeah. Do you mind
just
if
a
we wait
scan.
here with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And Elaine's gonna quickly shoot Maria a text that he's in a CT scan, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep an eye and see if maybe he's outside of the building.
Russ, I think we should probably stay put for now, but just so you know, he's not in the room. Lindsay said that they took him for a CT scan about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, where are my manners? My name's Elaine. This is my friend Alvin. We were out there helping look for Brock, and we were there when Russ found him.
I'm glad you helped him. Thank you so much. He'll definitely want to thank you himself. He's been awake a couple times, and he was confused, as you might imagine. He didn't really know what happened, where he was. He's saying something about dreams, and that's why.
Dreams was he having?
Oh, I just bad ones, violent ones, he said.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what happened. Never seen so many doctors confused together. There's 4 of them in here at one point, and they were all kind of talking around him. And there's a whole battery of tests that they want to run him through, apparently. This, that, and the other. Like, they didn't even believe him when he said at first that, he had eyes. And thankfully, he does his checkup every year, and like he's never had any issues before. Like, a guy doesn't lose his eyes. And you can tell, like, she's tired and confused. Like, she's very, like, kind of put out here at this point. Just like, your hair is all messed up. She's been here for hours. Like, it's middle of the afternoon. She's been here for 12 hours, basically. Give or take.
Can I go get you a coffee?
Yeah, that would be great. There is a really bad machine down the hall to the left, but they do have a cafe, first floor, on the west side of the building.
Yeah, I'll go get you some cafe coffee. I'll be back.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And Elaine will like look at Alvin, and then she'll slip out into the hospital.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, you wander about and you find it. Like, is there anything you're doing other than going and getting coffee?
She wants to check in and be like, when exactly is Brock's CT scan gonna be over?
Okay. With like, who are you checking in with? Like the nursing station or something like that?
Yeah, nursing station.
She just kind of looks at you. I don't have that information. It gets pretty backed up down there. We've had a busy couple of days. The storms we've gotten stocked up pretty good.
Yeah, I understand. You got a lot of security in here today.
Oh, we had, she kind of like looks, we had a lunatic here last night just screaming at the top of his lungs about something, like attacked one of the officers here out in the parking lot and ran away and everything. And then we've had so many she kind of looks around. We have so many junkies coming in, and I don't know what the hell it is they're on, but they're as strong as giants. Like it's some kind of, I don't know, some sort of PCP or whatever. We don't really know. We're still testing it. Damn labs backed up.
That's crazy. Is it from anywhere in particular?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We don't know anything about that. Oh, they just come in here and, they've got, suddenly they got forks and knives stabbed into their hands. It's because they're watching all of those shows, where they do the stunts and things and injure themselves, but now they're not feeling it because that's apparently what happens. And then they're crazy and they're seeing things. And, two of our nurses got a black eye. We got one of our doctors' arm got yanked out of his shoulder and now he's got a sling. It's just,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, as you can imagine, we kind of need some extra security around here. That's for sure.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all that you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I'm sorry, your friend. I just know that they're backed up for hours. That there might even be a line in the hall still, for all I know. But we're going to take care of. And she's she's going to start asking more questions, but then she kind of thinks, she's like, we're going to take care of your friend. Don't worry.
While he's waiting in the hall, are we able to pop in real quick and see him?
I don't even know if he's waiting down in the hall, but no,
okay.
that's not really a wing for public movement here.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We don't want you there's sensitive equipment and everything.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll be waiting up in his room. If you hear anything, would you mind just letting us know?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. No problem. I can do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
And then Elaine will start heading back to the room. But she wants to see if she notices anything about the security.
What are you trying to notice that your original awareness test wouldn't have noticed? Is there something specific you're looking for?
Let me think on that. Go to outside people.
Okay, that's fine. Outside people, you've heard all that because you had the open line, I think. So you've heard all that. We'll say muffled, but you heard it. Kyoto called a lunatic. But yeah, you've heard all that info.
Just because I haven't gotten to play with it yet, can we say that Maria brought her drone?
Sure, we'll say you probably keep it in the back of your truck or something. That's fine.
All right. Because I'm wondering if I can kind of throw the drone overhead and see if I can get a sense of how many of these Valley MedCorp bands there might be, or kind of how much security is around here. Kind of get a broader lay of the area.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I think you do a roll, I believe, for control. I think it's wits and tech is your
Yeah, so
role.
there's a couple different roles. There's the control role, and then there's the actual like stealth and awareness role to see what I see.
Yeah, so why don't we just do just do a wits tech roll here. I think we'll start with that. Your basic drone as you get that set up. And it's daylight, downtown. 2 successes is fine. I think it's straightforward for you to fly this thing around. That's fine.
Okay.
But you're trying to do so in a way that's not going to draw attention.
Yeah, so that's going to be my stealth plus awareness roll.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
To see.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with it. And I'm sure you have you got like you probably are controlling it by tablet. Like it's I think some sort of tablet control panel.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and roll it.
All right. So stealth plus awareness. So how does that work? Because stealth plus awareness are 2 different.
It's okay. You can do that. You can combine basically anything.
All right. So I'm going to roll it as if it's dex because that's a 1. And then.
Okay.
Oh, darn. All right.
All right.
Can I do a willpower to reroll?
Of course.
All right. How do I. All right. Awareness. And then dex again. 2. And then I'm going to take one of these.
One of these what?
Modifier.
It's always
audience
fun
dice
watching
for
Melissa
modifier.
trying to talk and do all of her stuff at the same time. So what she meant about math, she troubles with this stuff. Okay, you got 2 successes. Okay. That'll be better. That'll essentially with 2, like you're gonna get some time with the drone before it's really noticed, but you're not gonna get a ton of time. The higher the roller, the longer you'd probably get it.
Sure.
And so you're you're specifically interested in information about like how the security spread, how much is there, or is that what that's where you're looking for?
Yeah. So general security, like how many of these control folks there are, and then also if there's any movement with, or how many of the Valley Med Corps there are.
Okay. Valley Med Corps, you just see the one van, as far as you know. And if you start flying it around, you do see that in the area immediately around Valleywise Med Center, which is a very large complex, that you can see that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 vehicles that you think are security vehicles. If you start expanding a little bit further, you do actually notice that there is a second Valley Med Corps vehicle, but it's in a lot that's kind of off a bit to the west, and across like a major street, I think across Roosevelt probably, and you can see that there seems to be like a separate location for it, and you do see that like that Valley Med Corps logo is set up on the kind of strip mall sign that shows all the different businesses and such that are in a place. So it looks like it does have headquarters relatively close to where the Valleywise Med Center is. If you continue to start spiraling out with 2 successes, you do notice that there are a lot of security vehicles off to the north, away from the lot. Away from like the medical plaza, but it's hard to say whether it has anything to do with the hospital. There is a prison to the north there. Like there is a special needs prison. So like prison like where they have special requirements and things. And so that's kind of off to the north. And you do see that they have like a no-fly zone essentially for this type of stuff. And that's when like you start realizing you got to start peeling it back before you get too close.
Okay.
That's probably all you would see.
Russ, we've got another one of those Valley Med Corps vans across the street. And it looks like we may have found one of their offices. So if it takes them a while inside, we might want to go take a peek over there.
Let's do it, Maria. Let's skin the enemy in his den.
Or we ask questions and find out information and figure out who needs skinning.
All right. I'll follow your lead, Maria.
All right.
Okay. Two of you pull out. You start driving over. It's not that far away. Alvin, have you been doing anything?
I have not been. Maybe just small chat with Louise or Luane.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Hey, Bert. Thank you for the raid, man. Hope your game was good tonight.
Welcome, Raiders.
We are wandering around a hospital right now because someone lost a patient. Okay. Okay, so then we'll say, Elaine, you make it back. Quixote and Maria, you're driving over to the no, werewolf's back. You're driving over to the to Valley MedCore Center. Lindsay, so Elaine, Alvin, and let me know when you come up with something. But otherwise, I'm going to stick with Maria and Quixote for now. But yeah, you drive over. It's a strip mall. Like, you can tell that it looks like it's some kind of urgent care clinic, essentially, but you can tell that, like, the vehicles themselves, these med vehicles, you saw one by the hospital, you saw one in the parking lot nearby, like kind of around back. But it does look like this is sort of like a hub for this company. What do you want to do?
So Maria's just gonna kind of look over to Russ and just be like, You're my eyes. I'm gonna just do some talking.
You got it. If things go sideways, well, I've got that crowbar you gave me.
There you go.
Even though Elaine thinks I'm a lunatic, I can keep it together.
I think you heard that wrong. I think that was
No,
Lindsay.
that's right. That's how I
that said
remember.
that.
I know she thinks I'm a lunatic. That's all right.
No, actually, sorry, it was one of the
It was the
staff at
nurse who said
hospital.
you.
It was a
It
nurse,
was
yeah.
Lindsay who said you didn't have friends. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. So you go
So-
inside. Yeah. Do you want to go inside? Is that
Yeah.
the idea? Okay. Yeah. You go inside. No problem. It looks like some kind of looks like an urgent care clinic. Doesn't look to be. It's fairly small. Looks like there's like one person in the waiting room. There's it looks like a window and a check-in station. There's a TV on. Looks like it's just got like local news station on, like Channel 3. And yeah, you go up to the clinic and so there's a woman. You can see she's got like really curly hair, dark skin. She just says, hey, go ahead and sign in right there. She kind of points to it like fill out the form if you have medical insurance.
No,
If you have a card, it's okay if you don't. It's fine.
No. I mean, we're not. You don't need any medical care. Actually, I know I'm just kind of dropping in. Do you have an office manager or anything that might be available to chat for a couple minutes?
Yeah, sure. Who are you exactly? We are kind of busy here. You look around, they're not really busy.
Yeah. So I will also look around and just be like, hoping you might have a couple minutes. Just chatting with, folks in the area, just kind of passing out some business cards. I'd love it if you've manager's got just a quick couple minutes.
Okay, sure. And she leans back. Harriet, someone up here needs to talk to you. Local business, something or other. I don't know. And
Thank you, ma'am.
and you can see a couple moments later, a woman comes out, kind of opens the door. You can tell she's probably mid-40s or so. Business, sort of dressed sort of very professionally. She comes, doesn't let you in or anything. It's like, can I help you?
Yeah.
Something about...
Harriet, is it?
Yeah. What's this regarding?
My name's Maria. I just, supporting local business and all. I hadn't really seen it run much. And I do plumbing in this area. And I know when you've got a medical facility, you've always got to make sure that you've got water running, got hot water, got to, keep everything up. And, I know there's all advertisements and vans and everything going around. But, I just thought, local business, support local business. Thought I'd pass
For
around the
sure,
business
yeah.
card.
Dr. Drebin is very interested in creating partnerships with the local community. What's the name of your business?
A to Z Plumbing.
A to Z Plumbing. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how a plumbing company and medical facilities can work together, but I'm sure we can be creative.
I actually have a lot of clients that are local doctors' offices. I mean, you've got labs, you got exam rooms, you got to get that hot water running, and if you don't have
you're
hot
looking
water,
for-
you can't do your work.
You're looking for work here. No, I'm sorry. We do have the plaza has they employ utility service. I'm sure we have the company's name around here somewhere. But no, I meant Dr. Drebin. He runs the clinic. He's very interested in creating community connections with various businesses and groups around here. Charitable donations and events, those types of things. That's what I was in reference to.
I see.
I can't necessarily hire out to a private company. We do go through, and we
I
are
understand.
renting here after all.
Property management and all that, but occasionally you get the opportunity to tell property management that there might be somebody better to contract with. So what do y'all do here? I'm pretty familiar with the businesses in the area, and
Sure.
Can't say I've come across you before.
Right. We are somewhat new. That's true. Basically, we're a medical services facility. We're privately funded, nonprofit. We do work with various groups around town, but primarily what we're trying to offer is both mobile medical services. As you know, and she kind of gets into this huge spiel. As you know, Phoenix has a very high homelessness population, and we are trying to do what we do right by them, do what we can to ensure that they're getting proper medical care, so that we're again no charge, no cost to them, no questions asked, and we have 2 vans, and we send them out around. One of them is public, and we kind of goes to various stops, and we have another that is for rent, or it's for some sort of event coordination, and we give free care, and we also, as you see, we have the clinic as well, so we accept walk-ins, no insurance required, everything is paid for.
I mean, that is just doing great work. It's really good to see, especially this time of year with the heat. I mean, you must be a very busy time for you.
You are. Yeah, that is very true. That is dehydration is a significant danger. Absolutely. Heat stroke, of course. There's many dangers, especially to those who are without homes. But that is just the mission statement of Dr. Drebin. He's our he's who's in charge, and we're all here just serving his vision.
Yeah, it seems like you don't have too many patients today. Is he around?
Dr. Drebin, is he? Well, he is here, yes. However, he is with clients currently, patients. Okay, I'm
Guilty at that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is losing his mind a little bit. He's like a pit bull tugging at a chain. He looks over, he's like, all right, okay. Listen, lady. Listen, lady. Tell Dr. Drebin that we got somebody without eyeballs that he needs to see.
Harriet looks
slams
over
his hand out and he's like, he had eyeballs yesterday. He don't have eyeballs today.
I believe it's your friend's all right.
No, he's got no eyeballs.
No, I was speaking with the woman. She looks at Maria. Is he okay?
I work at one of the homeless shelters you were talking about.
Oh, that's wonderful. Which one?
He gives her the name. He gives.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, of course. We've been trying to organize events with Mr. Davies. Yes, he's due to return our call. I think we're scheduling.
Brock and I are close. We're very close, but we were
That's
we were at the
wonderful.
hospital, and we've got, like I said, we've got a friend with no eyes, and he had eyes yesterday, and Dr. Drebin was so nice to communicate with the shelter that we trust him more than anybody else. So we wanted to talk to him about what would cause this. Isn't that right, Maria?
I'm just going to pause for a second. Welcome, Raiders.
think. Thank you,
Right.
murder hobos, juggalos. She
He
looks towards
I mean,
you,
He
shock
looks like
on
a
her
complete
face.
crazy person.
Oh,
he
yeah,
looks completely
yeah.
out of his mind.
And she's probably used to dealing with this kind of stuff too. So like, that sounds interesting.
Can I
Oh.
do some type of role? So
Yes,
now that like Rust
absolutely.
is talking, like I would like to get some sense of her reaction to this information.
So like if the goal is ultimately to talk to Dr. Drebin, this sounds to me like a persuasion roll. Manipulation or persuasion probably makes the most sense. I am going to increase the difficulty probably because I do think that Rust is coming across pretty strong. So I will put this. It was going to be moderate, but I'm going to kick it to challenging as you're trying to, in the middle of the workday, gain access to the doctor on staff, like the guy who's in charge, with possibly a crazy person in tow. So,
Is it composure, persuasion?
yeah, it's going to be persuasion, and you can pick between no, not composure. I was going to say manipulation or I think composure would apply here because like this is kind of a strange situation with
Maria's like,
Rust.
we do need an appointment.
I do. I'll take composure. Sure. And you're going to need 4 successes to be able to see the doctor.
All right. And okay.
Triple A to Z plumbing. Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's a good roll. Oh my
Holy crap,
gosh.
that's 7 successes. So clearly Maria's brain works way faster than Melissa's brain and
Sure.
words come out. That makes sense.
Okay. Well, I'm sure if you're a friend of Mr. Davies, I'm sure maybe Mr. or maybe the doctor would want to speak with you. And sure. One moment. Let me. You know what? Why don't you come back with me? We do have a conference room back here. I can have you wait in and see if Dr. Drebin is available. One moment. And so she kind of leads you back, and like you kind of, and it's a modest place, nothing, pretty fancy. And she kind of sets you off into a conference room. And she says, and if just give me a few moments, let me see if he's done with his current client, and I'll be back.
As we were moving through, Rust was scanning for any obvious security measures, how she buzzes people back, if there's security cameras, how they're pointed, if there's swivels.
Awareness, straightforward. So 2 successes, probably all you really need.
Was there like one person in the waiting room?
There was 1 person in the waiting room. Okay, 3 successes.
Glancing at that, whatever they're thinking.
Yeah, you can see they got their So I mean, as you come in, like you can see their head is down in their hands, and they're talking to themselves, and they seem kind of lost, like they're very confused, and you can also see that they're kind of covered in some wounds here and there, but they have eyes, so you're pretty sure they're okay.
There's that at least.
So yeah,
already
Kyoto,
knowing our question.
yeah,
They
Kyoto,
have eyes.
they have eyes. Kyoto, you do see, there are multiple cameras, actually more than you would probably expect in a place like this. There's one right over the entrance to the entire area. There's a second one that looks to be within the waiting room. So there's like 2 total. One of them looks right there at the front door. One of them looks at the waiting area. And it looks like there's one on the inside of the door. The door itself, you notice that it looks more like a mechanical lock that sort of locks from the outside. And then, if you're inside of it, you can open up. So it doesn't seem to be electronic. But then there's like at the one corner that you have when you got to come back, there's another camera. So like basically the hallways seem to be covered. I would say with 3 successes, you do notice that there's a couple rooms, but you don't really see many other patients or anybody moving around. There's like 1 or 2 other office workers, someone in scrubs, so you assume like a nurse or a medical assistant of some kind. But it doesn't look that busy back here. As the two of you say, you sit down in the conference room. I'm going to take this opportunity to kick it back over to Elaine and Alvin, check in with them. It's been some time, and Brock is still not back. What do you want to do?
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't wait all afternoon. I think we're going to get going here. But we do recommend if he does make it back to the patient room, check him out as soon as possible.
Well, that's I mean, we definitely want to get to the bottom of what befall. He was brutally assaulted.
Would you mind just giving me a call when he returns?
Sure, I can do that. Sure, that's fine. Okay. I would think he's. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And I think we're gonna try and make our way to this like CT area. Just get a little peek.
Okay, so you're going into a location that's not necessarily open to just anybody. So what's your general strategy for doing that?
If there's maybe like some sort of nurse's gown or a protective gown, maybe we'll just put that on to look the part.
So you want to try to snatch a... you want to try to snatch like scrubs or something? Oh, man, This is great. Okay. I think that's subterfuge. Or is that larceny? I always get those two confused.
Larceny is all about the stealing and breaking into things. Subterfuge is about after you get them.
What do you do?
Making people believe that you're a doctor or something.
Okay. So we'll go larceny then, as you're trying to get into like a, supply station to get proper nursing gear or something like that. So it sounds like a larceny test. Probably you can apply it a lot of, I mean, I could take a lot of different attributes for this. It sort of depends on your approach. Are you trying to observe and time it? That might be a wits. Are you trying to do it quickly? That might be, dexterity or something like that. So
do you have any larceny, Elaine? All right. I'll just do.
I what?
You were muted.
Oh, I don't.
Okay. I'll just do a dex. Make it as quick as possible.
Okay. So you're just going to try to, as quickly as, like, just super quick, without trying to get anyone to see. You're trying to make you're kind of waiting by the door of like a supply. Yeah. And you're trying to quickly like stick a foot out or reach your arm in to kind of keep the door from closing. Okay. Let's put the difficulty at 3 successes. What's your marshal though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to get into the mechanics here for a second. Elaine, you are underground.
Yes.
So this would be your Creed field. No one's rolled yet.
Yeah.
No one's rolled yet. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Okay.
No one's rolled yet. So if we wanted to kind of restage this and say Alvin's helping you and you do the roll, you could tap into despair. So you could tap into desperation dice, which we're at despair 2. So you would get 2 extra dice on this. The difficulty is going to be 3 to do this. So just throwing that out there as an option.
I'll assist her then if she could tap into that.
Okay. And we said dexterity.
Yeah, but you're welcome to change it. Like if you want to change the
Could I do wits?
approach.
Like I'm like watching to see like if someone's frequently entering, maybe
time it right. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. So wits, and you're using the desperation dice, which should pop up for you, and then you can get the +1 from Alvin giving you a hand as well. And you're going to need 3 successes on this. And if you roll a 1 on any of the desperation dice, then we'll tackle what happens then, because overreach.
We get to play with the rules.
Okay. Yeah. And we said difficulty of...
Unless Alvin wants to punch the nurses, because then that would be his Creed field. So there's that as well.
Okay, I'm nervous.
Okay.
What does this mean?
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to get 1s on your desperation dice. That's the orange stuff. Okay.
That was stressful.
I was very nervous.
Right. So so maybe it's kind of how we set it up, like you're there kind of observing, watching, waiting around. Things are kind of busy. Maybe, Alvin's kind of there to respond to you when you give him the signal. And so he kind of runs over and sticks a foot in the door as it's closing very slowly. And you're able to sneak in, grab a couple pairs of scrubs and throw the scrubs on. And so now both of you are wearing scrubs, and there's this. We'll say there's a bathroom nearby you can go and change out in to not make it too difficult. So yeah, both of you have scrubs on. You're in the hospital. You don't have any, you don't have badges or anything like that, but you at the very least you have on the proper gear. What do you want to do? What's next?
Next is try to make our way through the doors as best as possible. Get to the CT area.
Okay. It's not hard to find. Like there's signs everywhere, so like navigating this is relatively easy. You get on the elevator, and I'm do a little. Actually, I'm not going to do a roll. I'm just gonna tap into one of my complications. Get on the elevator. Right as the elevator doors are closing, you see the classic hand slide into the elevator and kind of pushes the door open. And there you see a fairly big dude in his security gear. You can tell he's got, it's not like a full on kind of ballistic vest, but you can tell, I think it's called like ballistic cloth. Like that's the tier. It's not like a full on Kevlar or anything, but he steps in, he looks like, a uniformed officer. But both of you, because you know what to look for, it's been mentioned to you before, you do notice that like there's no, like the badge, that they do have these badges, but you can tell it's not the city of Phoenix. Like you do see that the badge is almost like it's sort of there almost like show, but instead like you see this moniker for lockroom control. And so you can see he steps on and he does the really awkward thing. You never do this on an elevator, by the way, because this is breaking social construct. You step onto an elevator, most of the time people turn around and face the door. That's not what this guy does. He steps on and he's staring at the two of you right now. He's just looking right at you.
Afternoon there. Busy. Keeping busy?
Yeah. Definitely keeping busy. It's been a weird couple hours and day or so. Doctor, and you see him lean in kind of as if he's looking for your badge, your ID badge, to try to seem to be missing your identification there.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe a friend here has it, and you can see he kind of leans over towards Elaine. Oh, look at that! So you gonna come with me, or you gonna give me some fancy story? How we want to handle this?
is there a problem? I forgot my badge, but
You forgot your badge.
it happens.
Where'd you forget your badge?
My other scrubs probably. I could go get them.
Your other scrubs. That's a good one. This guy right here, he kind of looks over Elaine. This guy, other scrubs. That's great. What about you? What's your story? Both of you just forgot them? Are they both in your scrubs, or did you forget them in your other scrubs too?
As I pat around my pants, looks like I got something, but I pull out my fists instead.
Okay.
I'll just strangle with this guy here.
Okay. Sure. Absolutely. So go ahead and roll. So we're going to be doing, you do brawl, right? I think.
Yeah.
All right. So this is contested. Let me get you, I'm going to give you a bonus since it's kind of surprising, since you're like, you threw the first punch when it looked like he was just sort of making jokes. Let me get the difficulty for you. 1 sec. Gotta go into my GM only. Oop, that's the wrong one. Get my lockroom control block. Okay. So, this is going to have a difficulty of 4. But I'll say take a +1 bonus to this. Take an extra die because I think you're doing this relatively.
Is he armed?
He's not holding it, but he has a gun on his side for sure. He does. He's got all of the usual stuff. He's got that heavy utility belt with all of the various gadgets and things. But yeah, this is going to be a difficulty of 4.
I do have a special tier to my brawl, unarmed humans, so he's not armed.
That's true. However, this guy's aware. No, you're right. He's the human. That's fine. Elaine, what are you doing before you roll? Elaine, what are you going to do in this situation? He's turning to you, and you can tell this guy thinks he's got you dead to rights. Like, you guys are sneaking around. You're doing stuff you're not supposed to. You can tell he's being like this powerful man about it, right? What are you doing, Elaine?
I was going to lie that we were having a conjugal visit and we lost it somewhere in the hospital.
That would have been great too.
But if Alvin does just straight clock him, Elaine will go to hit the emergency stop button on the elevator.
Okay. So two things. We'll say, I mean, if you want, we can say, you say that, like, if you give that story, I'm more than happy to say, like, that is enough. Just be like, you were doing what? And he kind of turns over, and that's enough to me to, like, give. And like, you can take an extra die for that, Alvin, as an assist.
Yeah.
But Elaine, you would know hitting that emergency thing could draw more attention to the elevator. Just so.
Oh, would it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's one of those things I think Elaine would know, being a ticket.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Alvin. Go ahead and roll it. Difficulty 4. Oh man.
With the 1 moderate.
With a +1 because you're doing it for surprise, and then a +1 as well for Elaine. So you get 2 extra die.
Does he have the chance to use desperation dice?
This is desperation. If you want to use the 2 desperation dice, you can, because this is your creed. This is your fighting. So yeah, that's fine. And then I think Melissa's keeping track of the audience dice. So if you wanted to tap into that for one of them,
we've got plenty.
You can tap into one at a time.
I'll use 1 desperation because I'm not too sure how that works.
You have to. It's whatever you have to use as many as the trackers at. The trackers at 2, because there is a downside to it if you roll 1.
I see. I'll just do it clean then without desperation.
Okay.
Do you want audience?
No, I have a lot here. I want to see my capabilities.
Okay, let's see it.
Right.
He's like, I'm just testing my limits. He's limit testing right here.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of dice.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Remind me never get into a fight with Alvin.
He's been doing judo for like 30 years, he said, something like that. Okay. Oh goodness. All right. So.
Wow.
Oh god. And you have a crit in there too, actually, right? Yeah. I see a crit in there.
Yeah.
All right. So Elaine, you start getting into the story about how, conjugal visit. We were in the supply closet. I'm sorry. Like, and he's like, and you can see he's once or twice it almost seems like he kind of eyes you guys up and down, sort of thinks about it, and then he's like, and then right as he's about to sort of answer or respond, all of a sudden Alvin unleashes a few judo moves, and you can see the guy's jaw just becomes rubber and it kind of flops back and forth a bit. However, I mean, you do an amazing, like you cold cock him, you like kind of turn him around, his head smashes against the side of the hospital, you kind of grab his arm, bend it back beneath his back, and you can hear him like, parts of him crack, the bones crack and everything. You start laying a couple extra punches into his sides as this all goes down. So damage wise, that should be, so it's 4 damage. Because it's the difference between the number of successes you got and the number of successes you needed. So it's 4. But then he's also got this ballistic cloth armor. So as some of it goes through. So you're, by the end of the day, you're able to actually do, I think, 2 damage to him. So which means he's still up. And you can see that he's reaching for like his, he's got a radio on his chest and he's trying to communicate, but you kind of got your, like, the arm kind of pinned to awkward, so he's not able to get it quickly. But he's, oh, you fucking shouldn't have done that. Like, this is how it's going to go down. All right. And you can tell, like, he's getting ready to, like, he's reaching down what looks like for, like, one of, like, you're not sure if it's his gun he's going for, if he's going for a different weapon, but he's going for something. And what do you two want to do here?
Oh God.
This is happening.
Yep.
You're fighting this guy in an elevator as you're going down to the CT scan room.
Oh Christ.
So you've done 2 damage to him. which is great. Like you've definitely you've got a good shot in on his face. But as you try to kind of finish and like take him, it's like you couldn't knock him out all at once, but he's still up.
Then I'll just grapple him, try to get a chokehold going.
Okay.
Choke him out.
All right. You want to try?
Done.
That sounds great. It's going to be the same difficulty as before. Elaine, what are you doing in this situation?
I'm gonna try and get his weapon away.
Oh, okay. You want to try? You want to go for his
Disarm
gun?
him. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to go for his gun? Okay. So it's going to be difficulty 4 for Alvin. It's going to technically be the same difficulty for Elaine. But what'll happen is whoever we want to resolve first, the second person it'll probably be easier. So, do we want Alvin to resolve first?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. So you'll get 4 and Elaine, you'll get 3. So
Okay.
Alvin, go ahead and roll your brawl against a difficulty 4.
What should I roll?
You can go for probably, I would say dexterity is the attribute that makes the most sense in this situation. You could probably just do brawl if you wanted. I think that's fine. Larceny technically could work if you wanted to roll that.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking between those two. Jeez.
7 success.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. And there weren't even any crits in there and he still got
All
7.
right, 7 points. Again, some of that is mitigated because he is like you're punching and like you're getting a couple shots in on his face. You're going for like the body shots, but you can tell he's got this ballistic cloth on. The elevator's going down. Fortunately, it hasn't dinged and opened yet, and you're able to do more damage. But he is still kind of kicking. He's still there, kind of thrashing about, and you can tell he's blocking, kind of with one arm. Like every time you try to like kind of go and choke him out, he's kind of putting the arm up. But if you got him pinned at this point, but he's got his arm kind of up underneath it as you're trying to kind of choke him out a bit. Elaine, go ahead and you roll yours.
Mel, can I have a dice, please?
Of course. Hey.
3. So meets.
3 will actually meet, yeah, because it's diminishing returns on that. So as he's kind of reaching back, trying to punch Alvin, you take that opportunity to reach down. You grab the gun from him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do we do with that gun? What do you do now? He's not out yet, but he's pinned. You can, like, Alvin, you're kind of bringing him. You're feeling his body kind of go limp. Alvin, Elaine, you've got the gun, and you also notice the elevator is going down to that basement level where the CT scan is. You just passed through level, to like floor 1. You've got maybe 10 seconds here to decide how you want to sort of resolve this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What do we want to do? Do I kill him?
Just knock him out. Just knock him out.
No,
Unload
I'll
a
hit
full
him on
clip right there. And just
No.
leave that. No one will notice that.
I'll hit him on top of the head.
Okay. You're just going to smash him. You're going to kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
cold
I like
clock
that.
him.
Alvin, are you just going to continue to try to bring
Yeah,
him
I'm
down?
going to tighten the grip here. He's got to get
Yep.
out.
Okay. So it's the same deal as before. Just roll. I think for Elaine, it's melee though now because you're using the gun to kind of smash into him. And he keeps trying to he's got his arm up underneath the chokehold, but you can feel it kind of. He's giving on that. The other arm is trying to reach, but he can't quite get to his radio. Go ahead and roll it, both of you. We'll resolve.
I would like a dice.
Yep.
The same difficulty.
Same difficulties before, 4 and 3.
Nice job, Elaine.
5.
Wow. Okay. Between the two of you, as
6.
he's and you can see he looks up. His eyes are kind of like wide. His face is just. The complexion is completely different than when you first met him, and he's looking like he's trying to say something, like he's like threatening you. And Elaine, you just take the gun and right in his face, and he just goes out completely. A little splurt of blood kind of comes out where you hit him, and he's unconscious in the middle of this elevator. And that's when you hear ding as the elevator has reached the basement. The doors are about to open. I will let you think about that as we'll cut over to the other. So I'll give you two a chance to think about it. We'll cut back over as we're going to go to a conference room. Equally exciting.
Before
As
the
we are in a-
doctor or anybody else comes in,
Sure.
Rust would very awkwardly get right in front of Maria. He pulls his hood up on his Baja sweatshirt and he grabs both of her hands, and he's like almost nose to nose. And he puts his forehead down on her shoulder, and then he says, "Maria, security in here is tighter than a mental hospital, and I don't see any patients back here. Something weird's going on. Just wanted you to know." And then he steps way back because doesn't like touching people. He's like,
Sure. I gotcha. We talk, we see what we get with talking.
"Well, we take him."
Last resort. Last option.
"Yes, ma'am."
You know me. I can talk to anybody. And once we can't do that anymore, we'll figure something else out.
I'll try to be quiet this time. Sorry. I got carried away.
Well, it got us back here, so can't say it was the worst thing. Is there anything of note in the room?
Pretty standard. If you look around, you'll see some pictures, some photos up here and there, hanging out on the walls. Looks like photos of, like, they're framed, of various events, various politicians. You probably would recognize some from the Valley here and there. Different events that looks like the company is associated with. Let's see. You would probably notice maybe a couple degrees or something like that as well, though I'm not sure if that'd be in the conference room, but maybe references to, like, Johns Hopkins and things like that. I'll tell you what, both of you can roll. This is going to be hard. This is going to be really hard. But I'll say roll an intelligence. We'll call it. Let's call. I guess politics would probably make the most sense here. Intelligence politics test. And I'm gonna put it at a fairly high difficulty. I'm gonna put this at a challenging difficulty, so 4.
Yeah. I'll take a audience dice.
Okay.
It's not worth wasting it on me. It would have to be a miracle.
Yeah. Okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have a great chance, but we'll see. Nope, that's 1.
Yeah. I mean, you go through some of the photos and things like that, and you see, like, different companies and different, people, and you vaguely recognize them. Maybe you saw them on a news broadcast or in the, Arizona Republic or something like that, kind of seeing it, here or there. You recognize some of these locations as well. Other sites, other kind of, like homeless shelter here, hospital there, a couple other locations, people of note. What I'll say is you don't recognize them right now, but you have phones, and so maybe you snap a couple photos or something, and something you can kind of try to roll later again, if you see if you can kind of recognize any of them.
I mean, basically, we're just kind of looking at each other like, this guy is well connected. I don't know who half these people are, but he knows a lot of people.
You see the Phoenix mayor, you see governor of Arizona, you see a couple Congress people, etc. You see a lot of other business owners, some big time folks, things like that. Eventually, though, the door will open up and you'll see walking in, man in his probably late 40s, early 50s, looks to be in pretty good health, kind of tan, got dirty blonde hair, clean shaven. He is dressed in, slacks and a button down. He's got the sleeves rolled up. He's got kind of a sort of a nice smile as he walks in. He's like, hello there. It's sorry, A to Z Plumbing, I believe. And
That's correct.
we have a friend in common. You're a friend of Brock Davies. He's a fine man. He kind of sends his hand out, kind of leans across the table to shake your hands.
Maria has a very firm handshake.
Dr. Wendell Drub. That's a very firm handshake you got there. Worker of the world. Okay, excellent. And extends the hand out to Rust.
I don't shake hands, Doctor. Sorry.
That's fine. Understand. No problem. Sure. So Harriet tells me, she tells me some strange things, but also you might be interested in putting together some kind of charity event or coordinating. Is that what I heard?
Absolutely. It seems like you and Maria points around to, kind of all the pictures up around. Keep yourself busy. It's
sure,
hard
yeah.
to even find time to see patients when you're shaking hands with all the important people around.
Well, I like to say that medicine is more like a hobby, and my true passion is philanthropy. It's something. It's a little joke we have around here. He kind of laughs it off a little bit. Both of you go ahead as he's kind of sitting there at the table, looking across from you. He's got this sort of very smug smile on his face. Both of you roll composure
Like
plus resolve. No.
Oh, resolve.
Roll composure plus resolve.
Okay.
Difficulty of 3.
So composure.
Can I take one of the dice from the
Of
audience?
Course. Yep.
Four successes for Russ. That's a pass. Maria, I know you got a ton of composure too.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. Plus.
Click on one, and then from the drop-down menu, pick the other.
Resolve.
Okay.
There you go, 4.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, both of you kind of, as you're sitting there, kind of looking around, like you get, he's very charming. You can tell as he sits down, like he's, even though like maybe there's a bit of anger, or hostility, or suspicion towards him as you come in, but he starts talking, and he kind of, gives you the grin, the smile, kind of the way he kind of leans back. There's something about him, but you kind of shake it off a bit, and you kind of keep talking.
Do I get any supernatural vibe from him?
Yeah. I think probably what alarmed you, Quixote, is that like you already feel like this intense suspicion towards him, and you felt like that almost like kind of instantly melt away for like a split second before like your suspicion kind of came back, and that probably maybe even heightens your suspicion even more. So yeah. So anyway, we just put those pictures up. I mean, honestly, we put them up to impress people. You put a couple of those pictures up, the next group come in here and they give us more money, and we're able to spread that money around to the folks who need it around here. There's a very large homeless population within Phoenix, and not a whole lot of people are trying to help them out, and they've gotten forgotten. And I think
so
that's
what exactly
just,
do you do to help them? I mean, I see you've got this place here, but I mean that's a
sure.
whole lot of money coming in.
Well, there's always more money to be had. There's only so many neighborhoods that we currently have within our radius. We're trying to expand if we can. We've only got 2 vans, trying to increase the fleet. Really just kind of hanging around here in Central City. We'd like to kind of spread out across the 17 maybe, bit by bit here and there. But what we do is, as you know, it's even people in good health, even people with health insurance, sometimes it's hard to get them to go see the doctor. And those people are often the ones that are in least need. It's even harder to get those that are in the most need to kind of come see us. And so instead of trying to get them to come see us, well, we bring it to them. And that's what we do.
Quick question. Conference room, 4 walls, 1 door, any windows, any cameras?
So there's one of the walls. So we'll say you came in on a wall, glass wall. It's got blinds here and there. They're not fully open or fully closed. They're kind of on an angle. You look around the conference room, no cameras. I'll roll over your awareness from before, but you do know that there's a camera on the door in the hallway. And so there is the possibility that if something kind of went south in here, it could potentially get caught by that, but not automatic. But yeah, he just says, so, we're just doing what we can. That's what we're doing. We got a lot of different companies on board. There's a lot of goodwill here in the Valley. And we got, contracts with different companies around here, and they provide us with some supplies. They provide us with some funding. We've got a nice contract with Valleywise next door. Some of their nurses and medical assistants, they moonlight with us. We even got a couple doctors that come out when the need arises. But yeah, we're doing good things here.
I tell you, at the shelter, we really appreciate it. There's so many unnatural things that prey on those of us who have no home. And with that, Rust is going to try to repel him just to see what happens.
Okay.
So he focuses on this Enochian script in his hands, and he just envisions pushing this guy away.
Okay.
To see if anything happens at all.
Difficulty. Double check. 1 sec. This will be a difficulty of 5.
Sweet mother of God.
Is that right? That can't be right. Is that right? No, it's not 5. Sorry.
So say, woo.
Sorry, I don't have.
He's an elder god. We're running.
No. Difficulty of 3. Difficulty of 3. That is right.
Okay.
We have dice left.
Now, since he is supernatural, can I use desperation dice since that's my creed?
Absolutely. Yeah. Go right ahead.
I'll go ahead and use 1 dice I just want to see what this guy does. And so Rust kind of positions himself with his back to the door and this guy in the room when he starts talking, and then he just sort of unleashes.
Okay.
Wow.
You do see that he's going through the spiel. He's talking to Maria. He's very affable, saying nice things. Not really kind of, every now and then he kind of looks over towards you to kind of make it seem like he's included you in the conversation as you kind of go through whatever sort of subtle machination that you do on the side. You actually can see like he has this like moment of where he just kind of flinches, like to the point where he nearly falls out of his chair and kind of kicks it over, and he kind of looks over towards you. And he looks over towards Maria, and he looks over towards you. And are you doing anything other than repelling him, other than kind of pushing him? Is that the goal here?
That's it.
Okay.
He can't approach us as long as that's in effect. But
and so he kind of looks at you, and you can tell that he's got this moment of curiosity about what just happened, but he quickly puts the facade back on. Oh, sorry about that. Been a long day,
Everything okay?
that's all right, Doctor.
Good.
You and we understand one another a little better now, I think.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, about that event. So Brock and I, as he kind of starts now looking at Russ, sort of, and you can definitely tell he's sort of appraising you currently. So, Brock and I were talking about doing an event within the next 2 weeks, trying to make his shelter one of the main stops on our route. Maybe we're talking about every Thursday, trying to do a couple hours in the parking lot. Getting whoever.
Brock's in the hospital now, actually, so we We may have to put that on hold. Something stole his eyes last night. Does that ring a bell? Anything you hear about something like that, Doctor?
I stole his eyes.
It's not something to laugh about.
No, absolutely. I apologize. It's not the intention here. It's just, what does that actually mean? Stole his eyes.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's imagine, he's looking dead in this guy's eyes, that there are supernatural things out there. Some of them like to hide in plain sight. Some of them may be completely covered in eyes and like to steal the eyes out of people. They make people very curious. The shelter appreciates your concern, but I'm thinking I might have to take this up with St. Leopold.
He kind of looks over to Maria. He looks at Rust. Well, this has been a very interesting conversation, but he kind of looks at the watch. I do have other appointments this afternoon. If Brock has been injured, I will gladly go ahead and take a look at him. You know what? I got so many friends over at Valleywise, it shouldn't be too difficult for me to,
You know what?
hop on over and take a glance.
You know, if he managed to find his way out of that hospital and found his way home, I think I'd probably forget we ever had this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty big hospital. Easy
All
to
right.
get lost.
Well, you fight the war however you choose to fight it.
You're a funny guy. This guy's a funny guy. I don't know where you found him, but it's a funny guy right here. Anyway, Maria, it's been a pleasure.
So Rust will walk a little bit closer to him just to push him further back.
he'll like kind of start weaving around, like
He's like,
very you could tell he's like kind of confused and like doesn't shake hands, but doesn't recognize personal space either. Why don't we anyhow
we'll go ahead and leave, Doctor, but based on the amount of cooperation you were willing to give me today, I'm sure we'll be seeing one another again.
well, I'm sure we will. And I'll tell you what, if you leave your number with my office staff up front, I'll go ahead and give you a ring after I do a nice little thorough checkup on Brock. How about that?
Hey, that's okay. I'll let the church know that you'll be looking in on him, and we'll see how many of them want to look in on you.
Okay, then. I think we understand each other. All right. You all know the way out. Go right ahead. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Brock backs out because he's almost. Russ
Yeah.
backs out because he's almost peeing his pants. He's terrified at this point. He's trying not to show it.
Maria, he extends a handshake to you. Do you shake his hand?
Maria.
He's
He's unclean. He's one of the monsters.
Maria's going to shake his hand
Okay.
just as gruffly as it was the first
Damn it.
he's gonna pull in close to you, Maria, and he's gonna whisper, and he's just gonna say, I think your friend might be using. I'm not sure if you've heard. There's a terrible new drug going around the valley. We see it all the time. In the van, people seeing things, saying things, doing things beyond, like acting real. I mean, I hate to use the term crazy, but they're seeing things. I think you might want to get your friend a little checkup just in case. Maybe flush it out of his system. It takes a couple days to get on out, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you. I'll always take a bit of advice, and maybe our paths will cross again. I think the shelter's probably off the table for right now, though.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. Yeah. So Quixote backed out, you said? Backed out of the room at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he'll back up and he'll start walking. Yeah, no, we talked with a Lindsay too. She seemed to be fairly interested in it. So we'll go ahead and he kind of does the Bill Lungberg, kind of like crack his back type of thing. We're just going to go ahead and see what she has to say about this. But you two are fun. And he backs out and kind of heads down the hall towards his office. Okay. Did you leave?
Maria, on the way out, just because she feels like pissing this guy off, she's gonna pull out a cigarette and light it up before she leaves.
What? Okay. You're just walking through the halls, smoking a cigarette. Okay. You get up to the door. You get up to the front, and the woman, the original woman that you spoke to at the desk, she's like, "Oh, you two have a nice day." And she like, those things are going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Before your boss tries to.
What? What was that? Oh, he's gentle as a clam. I don't know if that's the phrase, but he's gentle.
You have a good day there, man.
Well, you too. Yeah. And you go and you start to leave, and you notice that the waiting room's completely empty, and the person that was there is gone. And the two of you exit. We'll kick it over to the elevator, where you've had ample opportunity to think how you're going to handle this. I'm not sure if you communicated in Discord, but the elevator just dinged. You have an unconscious security guard here for locker room control. And the door is about to open up. What do you two do? You have a moment to do something quick before those doors open.
I'm just going to pick him up here, give him a shoulder to lean on.
Okay, you're going to pick him up. You're going to weaken at Bernie's him. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, and Elaine's going to quickly wipe down the gun and put it back in his holster.
Okay, I think both those... Okay, we'll say both those things can happen. That's fine. It dings. Opens up. Let's see. High or low, long?
Let's go low.
Okay. You open up and there is no one immediately waiting. But as you step out and you've got him on your shoulder, you look off to the right, you look off to the left. You see in both directions, there's kind of the hallway extends. You can see there are patient beds that have been lined up in the hall. You can see that there's like a couple different hallways going directly away. There's two different hallways going direct and away from the elevator as well. There's all these different signs kind of pointing in different directions. And you can see there is personnel around here. You do see a direction to the right that heads towards the CT. So what do you guys want to do? There's no one immediately coming to you, but there are people moving about. So you have another moment to try to do something.
Elaine, is there like an empty bed that we can get?
Sure. We'll say that some of these beds are in fact empty.
Yeah, Elaine will bring over an empty bed and we can help get him on there.
Okay. All right. So you get them up. Do you probably sheets or something? Do you like do the full sheet thing? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'll cover him up.
Yeah,
his uniform is up to his neck.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. Roll stealth test. Try to do this in a way without drawing attention to yourselves.
Okay.
How's your stealth?
Could I do stealth wits? Does that make sense?
Stealth wits. Sure. Quick thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it. We'll say that we'll make this one moderate, so 3 successes, and you got 4, no problem. 4. Okay. Yeah, DJ. I usually put the Friday game. So in this case, Hunter goes on YouTube on Monday. Our Saturday game goes up on Tuesday, and then our Monday game goes up on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is YouTube, but it'll be up on Twitch as well. The VOD. We leave it up. We leave our VODs up on Twitch too for a little while. Cool. So you're able to quickly get him into this bed, cover him up before you're noticed. And because other people are kind of dealing with patients, you see someone will come out what looks like an exam room and they'll wheel somebody else in, and you kind of see other there's patients here that are laying in bed. Some are sitting up in the bed. A few of them are like kind of holding their heads in their hands and kind of looking really disoriented. What do you two want to do? You still don't have any ID cards, by the way.
Yeah, while we were putting him on this bed, we'll just swipe his badge for now.
Okay. You want to swipe his locker room badge? Okay, sure.
And then we'll just kind of just roll him around to the CT rooms.
Okay, so you start to push him around towards the CT scan rooms. You see that there is a line as you wheel around of three different there's three different patients that are lined up. Both of you have seen Brock before. He is not amongst these three, and there's no clear view into the specific exam room. He could be in that area now, but the three out in the hallway are not. How do you want to handle it?
Ooh. Is there like a window into the exam room?
I'm going to say no, because I feel like that would be a privacy thing. I would say there's probably, I think if I remember, it's been a long time since I had a CT scan, but if I remember, there were basically two rooms. There's
like
one
the
room,
observation room. Yeah.
And then like there was the actual machine room too. CT scans suck, but yeah, MRI.
Yeah, they're all separated because of the high potential radiation dose.
But there's nothing that looks directly in to the rooms themselves.
Okay. Alvin, any ideas?
We can't see if he's here without going in. Maybe he's in a waiting room. Is there like maybe a location where they just have patients held down there?
You think that from what Elaine got from the nurse, they're kind of just leaving him in the hall. True story. This is literally what's happened to me. I just get left in the hall. This has happened a few times. This is actually what they're doing. They're just leaving patients in the hall. So,
perhaps then we can just wait for like them to come get the next one.
Okay.
Like leave this guy here. Maybe is there like another room in here where we can get into and like watch?
No, like you're going to go into one room and there's either, so like the door will open up, you'll go into like there's either the exam side or you kind of look through and you can see the patient side where the equipment is. So you would have to kind of go in through this door.
Oh, I mean, is there any other hallways or like rooms in this hallway?
All of them are exam rooms or utility closets, things like that, we'll say.
Gotcha.
Yeah, is what you have down here. This isn't like a public area. This is where
Just a quick question to one of the patients waiting out here. It's like, how long have you been in line? Who was in front of you?
Okay. One of them that you speak to, kind of their head down in their hand, looks up towards you. They look lost. They have what looks like a scrape down their face. Like something is like they've like literally just like almost talons or their fingernails or something. And it's just like this horrible wound. It's definitely healing. Like but it's recent. And you can see that their eyes like are discolored. And they have what looks like this really bad like wound on the side of their head. That's again sort of bandaged up a bit. And they look, I've been here for days, man. For days. Days on end, man. I've seen the future and the past, and each time I'm in this place, I think it's purgatory, man. I think I died. Yeah.
Oh, no, you were very well alive, sir.
How do you know, man? You're here too. Maybe you don't know.
Yeah.
You hear a person cough from like the next bed, like, yeah, don't mind him. He's not right in the head. I've been here for about an hour. He's been here a little less than that. And that one up front, he was here when I got here.
Okay. Wait, we're really back up today then.
Yeah, things are going slow. I gotta pee so bad. there ain't no way to walk around in one of these gowns without looking embarrassing, so I'm just gonna have to hold it, I guess.
Yeah.
You want to do a quick peek into the rooms, Elaine? Maybe see if he's in there?
Yeah.
Okay. You open the door, look inside, and we'll say you gain access to the observation area, and there's a couple monitors that are set up, desks, things like that. There's a window they're viewing through, and you can see that there's 3 individuals in here, 2 of whom are wearing scrubs, one of whom looks like a white coat on as well, and they're all either sitting or they're kind of doing the Commander Riker lean, looking over the shoulder of somebody else as they're reading the things, and they don't really look up immediately as you come in. So what I'll say is roll an awareness test, as they seem to be very interested in whatever it is they're looking at. Awareness and wits, because this is fast.
Yeah.
This is like, what do you see really quickly before?
Mel,
they
can I
react.
have a dice?
Yes, you can.
I think Ashley and Melissa use more dice than anyone.
We do.
Long
Hey, they're
likes
here.
playing on hard mode.
6.
Ooh.
Okay. You don't get a sight of the patient, Elaine, before the guy in the white coat yells and says, "Shut the damn door. What the hell's wrong with you? You're not supposed to be here." But you do catch sight of patient file sitting on a desk, and it is not Brock Davies.
Elaine will just do a quick, oh, sorry. I thought you were finished, and shut the door. And
Okay. Step out into the hall. He's not in here. He's not in line. What do you want to do?
Elaine, I want to try and like hack the security system.
How are you going to do that?
That's my question.
Okay.
Like, I know what I want to do, but I
I'm
don't
in the
know
middle
how
of
to
the
get there.
hallway.
No, not right here, obviously. Like, I recognize I might have to get somewhere else.
Cyberpunk red. All of a sudden, I sense around. I pull out my thing. I look for an access point. Yeah, you would probably need to get access to a terminal in somewhere in here, and even then, you're not sure what kind of access each of these individual terminals would have. A lot of them are outdated. A lot of them are very like system specific.
Okay.
If you're looking for like records, like so likely, I would say like you might want to be looking for like directory information. That could be something. You might want to look at like security footage. That could be something. And then I would say individual rooms might have some patient information on it, but most of it's going to probably be like specific to whichever equipment they're running. So it's not something that you would just be able to like easily. It probably requires a plan on your part. And then
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, you know how like some places have like codes for like, there's a lost child. Is there like a code for like lost patient?
That's
Or
a
like, could we
good
say there's one
question.
and like raise the alarm
You want to raise an alarm.
that there's not like a literal alarm, but like let somebody know that there's a missing patient?
You want to call security and say there's a missing patient.
Yeah, they can kind of get on like a. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what it might be. Like a.
The white zone is for loading only. Get on the intercom or something. Okay.
Like a.
Loading and unloading only.
And maybe call it in like a different area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe like a Miss Amber in whatever.
Yeah.
Some type of
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you wander around, you try to find a nurse's station or something around here or some other kind of station in the area. We'll say there's one. That's fine. High or low? Roll high or low?
Low.
Okay.
It's
Everyone's
so
going
much
low
stress
tonight.
for just the low.
Low's been working out really well tonight, actually. Okay. I'm going to say that as you approach, there is somebody here, but they're on the phone and their backs kind of turned and they're kind of messing around. Like that looks like they're kind of in the system. They got the thing and they're kind of talking. They're not really kind of paying attention to you too much. Code gray. Stevedore says code gray is what my work uses for security issues. Code green for patient incidents requiring staff intervention. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll say there's another phone here. So if you want to just try to like pretend that like you're supposed to be here, you go up and you use it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to like contact security? Are you trying to like
I'm trying to contact more like staff. So like it's kind
Basically
of like
putting out like a page, like a phone
Yeah.
system page.
Okay.
Yeah, and like in this situation, code green, and then she would like list specifications, and if there's like a code word for like a missing person,
Okay.
that's what she would do.
Sure. Let's let this go. Why not? So yeah, you get on the phone. You maybe the phone. Maybe you're lucky and the phone has like these like taped on, like press this button to dial out, press this button for this, or it has some sort of directory like taped to it that gives you an idea of like who to call to. And so you get like staff directory, and you ask them to put out. You give them information.
Yeah, she'll just be like code green.
Hang the phone up.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Okay.
So did you
Right.
call people to the CT scan
Yeah,
area?
that's what I was wondering.
Or did
Is
you
it-
call
is it for
people
this?
away from the CT scan area?
Oh, away.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you send them. You said there's a missing patient from a different wing of the hospital, different section of the hospital. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now what? You've
Now
done
we're
that.
gonna. Elaine wants to get out of these scrubs and get out of here.
You want to leave the hospital?
What do you think, Alvin?
Yeah, I think just open line to Maria and Quixote here. Like, Brock's missing. We can't find him. We've got a little heat here. We got to get out.
What? Grab a guard. Grab somebody. We'll make him talk.
Why don't we head back over in that direction, set up some surveillance, and see what information we can get?
So we'll just ditch this unconscious security guard here, just in a random room, and try to book it out here.
Yeah, Elaine.
Okay.
I thought we just left him in the hallway in the line for the CT scan.
Yeah, you put him.
Yeah.
You put him on a bed. You don't have him with you. You left him
Yeah.
on the bed in the middle of the hallway. He's unconscious. He's not dead. So at some point that'll pop up. Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting near time. So
Yeah, I'll provide just like a rendezvous point.
okay. As Elaine and Alvin, you're moving about. You get over towards. You kind of turn around the elevator. You turn around the hallway towards the elevator, and you do in fact see the guy that you left there is like kind of. He's there. He's still sort of unconscious, but you can tell that there's two security guys that are standing right there next to him and like, what, kind of waking up, and like they look concerned. They kind of get on their phones and or get on their radios and they start radioing something in, and they're kind of blocking the direction to the elevator here. As you start to maybe look for a different path, as you kind of move around a little bit here and there, look for like stairs maybe, or a different set of elevators as you're just kind of scrambling, rushing. Your awareness, we'll roll over one of your previous awarenesses. I mean, awareness plus wits it's 6 successes. It's very, very good. You notice that there is kind of iconography on the walls of one of these intersections that sort of directs that doesn't have any sort of specific language to it. It's just a symbol. And it kind of, you're kind of following the arrows, like peeking a little bit here and there. And at the end of this long hallway, you see what looks like 3 of these locker room security guys. Right there. One of them seems to be in what looks like some kind of secure booth right by this heavy duty door. And you can see that the other 2 are wheeling a bed through that heavy duty door. And as they go through this, like, you see almost like Star Trek kind of closing, like the doors kind of close. You see this kind of there's like no unauthorized personnel, and it doesn't have a label, doesn't have anything, and it kind of closes behind them. And there's just the one guy there by that security booth. You can put that in your mind, wander about, and we're going to end there on that site as you discover that weird little wing down there. We'll stop there for the night. All right.
All right.
Code Brock.
Code Brock. I like the Code Steven. We need a Code Steven. Yeah. Code Steven sounds like there's an unruly, ungrateful son of a gun somewhere. All right. Cool. So yeah, that is the end of tonight. Shall we do our questions really quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's hit you guys, man. Oh, tonight was weird. You guys got in an elevator fight. Experience questions. Participation, I'll take one. Something remarkable. Did anyone perform something remarkable during the session?
I took notes. Maria got 7 successes with her persuasion roll to meet the doctor. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
What was it?
I mean,
I feel
Alvin
like Rest just doing his
Alvin
I
is
see
on
your
my
charm.
list.
I see
Yeah.
your charm attempt and I raise you a push attempt.
right. I think that was good.
That was cool,
good.
yeah.
Okay. I think the elevator fight was cool from Alvin.
For sure.
That was cool. Let's see. Use a skill, edge, or other trait in a clever or critical way. You want to make a case for anybody?
I don't know that I'm going to take the first one. I don't know that I did anything particularly cool, but I would like to take one for my drone because like doing the drone surveillance helped us find.
Did help you find the location of it.
Valley
Sure.
Med place.
Yeah.
I think confirming that Dr. Drexel is a supernatural entity. Using my edge.
Yeah. I think that makes perfect sense.
For sure.
Okay.
The thing that I used the desperation dice for.
Which one?
Awareness roll.
To steal the nurse. Did you steal the nurse?
Yeah.
Okay.
The scrubs.
Something important your character learned this session. I think that I think both sides have something here. Maria and Quixote, you got the weird stuff with Drebin. Alvin and Elaine, something going on in the basements of this hospital.
Weird shit happening.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't concluded the story yet. Again, the story is like since we play a lot of One Ring, I've been thinking of the story as kind of like an adventure phase. So it's like not necessarily like one chapter or one section of a chronicle. We're pretty close though. I think like we've kind of hit a decent amount. However, like we took this is definitely not going the way I thought it was going to go, but that's fine. I don't care. It's
We
fun.
thought we were going to have a chat with Wes and his kid.
I thought I was going to be clubbing today.
I know exactly. I even have the club music ready for you because you're like,
Damn
get the
it.
club music ready. I'm like,
Can
all
I
right.
hear
I got like 4 different club
Can you
music
trigger
tracks.
it?
I mean, I have 4. I have
close out with
Cyberpunk
club
Bar,
music.
Inside Club, Vampire Club. It's just the name of the track from Tabletop the Vampire Theme.
That was a different kind of clubbing over the head.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay. All right. That was just one guy. It took you three turns to get him down. Imagine if I throw a whole fleet of these at you.
Oh God.
That's
You don't
gonna be
have to imagine
bad.
because it's going to happen in 2 weeks. So
Right.
let's see how that goes. Let's
We're
see.
still gonna die.
It's fun. This is fun. Let's see. Let's do some plugs. Aaron, what do you got going on Garblik?
Let's see. On Tuesday over on Garblag, I believe that they are going to be back with some Alien Heart of Darkness at the 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Garblag, we should be back with Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, Once Upon a Time in the Old World. Thursday, I don't know what they're doing during the day, but Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, I believe we will be back for some Octoon Cthulhu and second session of Egypt.
Yeah,
and then
I don't
Friday.
know. I don't know about next Thursday because I know I'm not going to be there next
Oh, that's right.
Thursday.
You're not going to be there. So,
I don't know what Matt's
Matt's
going to do
do
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. And then Friday, At 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Garblag, Josh is going to start running a little Blades in the Dark campaign for the month of August.
That's very cool. Nice.
Should be fun.
For us, tomorrow on this channel, in the afternoon, we're playing One Ring 2nd Edition, continuing our Waking of Angmar campaign. Tomorrow night, over on Grim and Perilous Plays, I will be running some Heart, The City Beneath, from Rick, Rowan, and Deckard. Or is it Rowan, Rook, and Deckard? I always get the R's confused. Let's see. Sunday night, I'll be over on Steam Still Murder, playing some Shadowrun. And Monday night, we'll be back on our own channel here, playing Holler for Savage Worlds. But that is it for us. Thank you for everyone who played. Thank you for everyone who hung out. Thank you for those of you who threw out bits and subs to get us to that hype train. Hello to the first-time chatters. Thanks for stopping by. Those of you who are watching this later on VOD or on YouTube, thank you for checking us out there. If you're new to our stuff, we got a lot of stuff backlogged up on YouTube. We're going to start getting some stuff out in podcast form too, probably starting with One Ring. So I'll have an announcement about that pretty soon. But check out the YouTube channel, Adventures in Lollygagging, and you can find all of our stuff there. So if you want to hang tight, we're going to raid somebody else who is also running games. Looks like Slices and Dices. So let me go ahead and give them a raid. So hang tight, follow the raid, watch more tabletop games tonight, and have a good rest of your weekend. So good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.